Hello, people of Earth. All right. Hopefully, this works right away because here at my last stream, I did not get my stream to start properly the first time. Okay, good. I see an ad running. It worked this time. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Why does that always happen now? What the fuck is wrong with YouTube these days? Stop it. Just leave it there. Okay. Thank you, YouTube. They listened to me for 2.5 seconds. All right. Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing? I am here. We had ourselves a bit of an episode tonight. We have a lot to talk about, I think. Some fun, some good, some maybe less than good. Yeah. I'll get to you guys in a second. I'm just gonna post that the thing has started. Okay. All right, let's see what we got here. Hi, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, Destroyer. Oh, yeah, I forgot the hellos. Hello, Destroyer. Hello, Scott. Hello, Edit. Hello, Chainsaw. Reactus. Hello, all of ya. I know the episode is still airing on the West Coast right now, so I will procrastinate as much as possible getting to tonight's episode, but I'm sure we'll dabble on the topics a little, especially if like someone ends up super chatting. I'm not going to make them wait half an hour. But I am going to try and talk about practically every other topic under the sun before we get there, just for everybody else. But yeah. So, hello, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you, Destroyer. Flash was good, 7 out of 10. Mandalorian was good, 8 out of 10. Can't wait for Superman and Lois, and don't care about Gotham Knights. Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. My theory about Batwoman missing is Red Death kidnapped her off screen. She got herself freed. Also, Keanu. Yeah, we'll talk about all that in a few minutes. Also, Flash related. Okay. And also flashlight related. Okay. What did I think of the Mandalorian this week? All right. Good. I will say good. I thought the first episode didn't really keep my attention well. I don't know if I can't necessarily say if it was a bad episode or not. It just didn't keep my attention well. I just might have been in a mood watching it, or maybe it really just wasn't that good. But I can't tell you anything really that happened in it outside of the fact that he ran into Bo-Katan at some point in the episode, and that he was going to go to Mandalore and look for the waters and all that stuff. It's about the only parts I can honestly say I remember from the episode. But this episode was all right. We got to see him and Grogu go for an adventure, and we got to see more Bo-Katan this episode, so that was all right. I enjoyed. I found it to be overall pretty good. I don't think there was any specific part of the episode that I was just like, oh my god, that's amazing. But I don't think there was any parts where I was like, oh, this is dragging on and this is kind of tiring, which does happen a lot in these episodes. They will have like 93% good / great. Then there'll be like 7% where you're kind of just like, oh. Okay, you know what? You could have cut 40 seconds out of this scene, like almost every episode. But I can't say there's something in the episode where I really felt that. There probably is, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. If I had to rate this week's Mandalorian, I'm giving it about an 8 out of 10. Last week's, I would give maybe a 6. And maybe it's even good enough for a 7, but a lot of that comes down to the fact I can't remember much from it. So I can't even say if I would give it a 7. How do I think Oliver returns? I don't know. I don't know why you guys always ask me questions like that, because you know my answer is going to be something simple like that. Like, I have no idea. Like, I don't know how to answer that. Hi, Candergrass. How's it going? It goes. What? My screen on here on StreamYard keeps flickering black for like a second at a time. Not even a second, like a quarter of a second at a time. It's not showing up that way on YouTube, is it, guys? So that's weird if it is. Like, I looked at my YouTube feed for a minute, and it didn't seem to be doing it there. But on here, it just randomly does it for like a quarter of a second at a time, every now and then. Just let me know if that is a problem. I don't know what to do about it if it is, but I'd like to at least know. So can you reveal you're actually Red Death now? I was not Red Death. I was Grodd. Yeah, that's me. I'm Gorilla Grodd. Also, in the MCU news, John Barenthal is back as the Punisher in Daredevil Born Again, which has officially started shooting 11 months, apparently. I did read he was going to be back. I didn't know it had something to do with them already filming, and I didn't know it had something to do with an 11-month shoot. That's an insanely long shoot for a show. Good evening, Lionel. Welcome. Not sure how long I'll be on, but tonight's episode was awesome. Thank you, Lionel. I mostly agree with that. We haven't really talked about the episode because I'm trying to procrastinate talking about it as much as I can so that people from the East Coast feed can get in here and I don't have to repeat myself 3 times for everyone, because I know I'm going to. I know some people come in late and they'll be like, "Oh, did you talk about this thing yet?" And I'll be like, "I did, but here's my brief recap of it." So I'm trying to procrastinate talking about it as long as I can so I don't have to talk about it like 2 or 3 times before anyone else gets in here from the East Coast. Aaron. Between Cicada and Red Death, Cicada is more intimidating than Red Death. Red Death is such a chore, dull, and just bad villain. Yeah, Again, I'll get into that in a few minutes. There's a lot going on there. So you think Bo-Katan and Mando will be allies this season now? I have no idea. I don't write the show. I don't. I watch television to be entertained. I don't spend a lot of time, very often, sitting around thinking, I think this thing is going to lead to this thing, and then this thing's going to lead back to this thing, and that's going to lead over here to this thing. I don't spend a lot of time on it. I want to sit down in front of a television for an hour, be entertained, and that's it. I come on here and talk with you guys about it, but you have to know by now that I don't have a lot of theories on things. Like, you're here every week, you just know I'm not going to be sitting here going, okay, this is how I think that thing that happened this week, it's going to lead to this, and this thing's going to lead to that, and that thing's going to lead back to here, and then this thing's going to go to there, and then they're going to do this. Like, that's not really how I do things. Hello, Lloyd. I love the ep. Mandalorian is mid, to be honest. I thought the first episode didn't really grab my attention. The second episode I thought was better. I hope we see Ahsoka and Mando this season. I think we will, because doesn't she have a show coming up and they'll want to promote that show? So I think Mandalorian will have her in it at some point because they're going to want to promote the show she has coming up. I'd be flabbergasted if she's not in it. What else is? We've also got so coming up this next week, Gotham Knights is coming, people. You heard it here, 15th. Gotham Knights next week. The CW will have it in its entirety. Oh my God. It's going to be a show based in Gotham on television. Can you believe this, people? They're going to have a show in Gotham with Gotham-based characters in the show. Mind blown. I didn't think we'd ever see something in Gotham on television. Did you guys? Anyone here shocked by this? Okay, I've talked to two people in different aspects, one through DMs, one I talked to in person a bit, who've got to see some of Gotham Knights already. Both of them said it's not terrible. One of them said it's very watchable, and the other one said that it wasn't a chore. And the one that said it wasn't a chore did tell me going in they thought it would be a chore. So it might not be as bad as we all expected. But I don't think it's going to be rocking the world. Superman and Lois, chances of a renewal. 50-50. I don't know if they've made any decisions on it. I have zero knowledge on that. I don't have the same amount of connections on Superman and Lois as I would have back in the Flash. I don't know. Always strange seeing movie actors promoting the shows and vice versa. Zachary Levi promoting Superman and Lois and Gotham Knights for a Shazam preview. Really? Weird. I mean, it's not that strange because they do it because they need promotion, but yeah. Shazam 2 is coming out in 2 weeks? Oh, I didn't even know. I haven't even seen Cocaine Bear yet, and that was one I actually was excited to go see, and I still haven't seen it. It's like week 2 or week 3 now that it's been out. I got to watch that. Then I feel like John Wick is coming out soon for some reason. When does John Wick come out? What are we up to? John Wick 4? March 24th. Okay, so I think John Wick will be the next movie I might go see if I eventually go see Cocaine Bear. If not, I might skip Cocaine Bear and just go see John Wick 4. We'll see. Shazam, I probably will go see it, but it's not really high on my list right now. This episode of Mandalorian is fine. It was enjoyable, but I feel like this season would have had this fresh blood of Mando on his own without Baby Yoda. This just feels fine, not bad. There's no way they're doing a season without Baby Yoda. That is 60% of what people tune in for. The stories are always good, but let's be honest. Your non-Star Wars fans are there every week going, "Oh, I wonder what adorable thing Baby Yoda's going to do this week." That's what people watch, right? I read the other comment that was above it. Okay. I'm caught up to the comments for a minute, so maybe I've procrastinated for 10 minutes. Do we talk about this episode of The Flash? People? Do we talk about this episode of The Flash? All right, let's get into it. Let's jump in on this one. Flash tonight, episode 5, the Red Death finale. It was very good. Here's what I'll say. Of the episode itself, I would give it just on the basis of the episode. I'd give it like an 8.5. On the basis of this entire arc, it's like a 6.5, man. This finale only dug it up out of the ground a little bit. Before this, it was probably like a 5.5 or a 6. This brought it up to like a 6.5. This arc was weak as hell. They took way too long setting up any of the stuff. Minimal payout in the end. We finally get Batwoman in the episode, and she's there like shorter than one of the commercial breaks. We had we had some good scenes in it. There was definitely some good scenes. We had the whole excuse me, I still got a little gassiness because I was eating salsa and cheesies. Forgot my point. Look, I don't think we had enough Ryan / Batwoman in the episode, and we never got any idea of Red Death's backstory. And that's, I find, concerning, considering we threw away the equivalent of almost 2 episodes over this 5-episode arc on pointless things. We threw it away on the Chagra stuff that could have been wrapped up so long ago that we got the wrap up for anyways, that we knew was going to happen. We all of us knew this was the end result. Just get to it already. I think the stuff with Joe and Cecile was pretty good. I understand the back and forth that happened. I saw some people complaining. They're like, "Oh, why did so and so do this? Why didn't so and so do this?" And I think you actually have to sit there and listen to their back and forth discussion to honestly understand how Joe and Cecile's thought processes were and why they might have flip flopped a bit. Oh, by the way, both Joe's speeches in this episode, the one that he's talking to Barry, telling him, this, and then Barry's telling him how his superpower is like, fathering all these superheroes, and then the finale one where he's telling everybody he's moving out of town. 2 amazing speeches. Joe always knocks those out of the park. He carries a lot of the emotional power of this show. Okay, we're gonna address the big topic in the room that I know some people are curious about my thoughts on it. So we found out this episode, at the end of the episode, someone on Team Flash is pregnant. Now, if you have not watched the episode yet, spoiler alert coming. That Team Flash member that is pregnant is none other than Iris West Allen. So I'm gonna play both sides of the fence here. Completely aware of the fact that I will say things that I'll say one thing, then I'm going to say something else. It's going to go right against that. I'm completely aware of that. I'm perfectly fine knowing that. If you're a fan of Candace or Iris or West Allen, this really was a slap in the face situation they did with the reveal. I think anybody that's a fan of either of those 3 aspects felt insulted by how they did it. And I understand their anger. I think they have every right to be angry about it, because there's no one in the writer's room that could have looked at that and been like, "Oh yeah, their fans will be happy with this decision." Not one. Not. I don't care if you just came into the writer's room that afternoon. There's no way you did not know that this fandom would have a rage fit about this. No way. There's no way you didn't know that. So I understand why they're mad. That said, they've been just such horribly toxic, mean, bullying, threatening. They've threatened people on the crew. Awful people. And I'm not talking about all of them. I know I have to say this every goddamn time we talk about this group. All of you that are here on a regular basis, you know I say this every goddamn time, but I have to say it again in case some clown comes through here today for the first time. He goes, yeah, I thought he'd be blah, blah, blah. No. 80% of that fan base, no problem. They're just fans of a thing. 10% of them, they're mostly okay. Once in a while, they get a little worked up. Maybe they're upset about something. I think tonight's would be one of those things. Then there's like 10% that are just the worst people on the planet that, like, their entire existence is trying to make everyone hate the life. Like, they're so miserable. They only exist to make other people miserable. And those are the ones I'm specifically talking about in this instance. Because of how that scene rolled out, I was giddy with joy. Fucking could not hold in my joy for how that scene rolled out. The fact that it was Daniel Panabaker's new character that's been on the team for half a second that spoiled it. The irony. Whoever in the writer's room came up with this idea, I hope you got a raise because I love it. I love it. I feel bad for the other 90% of that fan base. I feel bad for them because they got robbed of a moment they should have legitimately had play out any other way. But the 10% that are the trashiest pieces of trash on the internet, nah, exquisite. I don't know which writer did it. 10 out of 10. You can't. The episode that made it. But yeah, I understand why everybody that's in that fandom is mad, and they have legitimate reasons to be mad. I get it. I fully support them being angry about it, but I'm also going to laugh at all the ones that are assholes, and this ruined their night. Because there's probably like 2 things left in the entire season that probably are hoping for, and this was one of those things, and it kind of got ruined for them. So, it was great. All right, let's get to some of these comments. I'm probably missing 1 or 2 points that were in the episode, but I'm sure they'll come up in the comments somewhere. My theory about Batwoman missing is Red Death kidnapped her off screen and she got herself freed. Also, Keown knowing Iris is pregnant and revive Mark. We're going to find out next week. Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about Keown and the fact that she's a bit meted. All right. Yeah. Keown did 2 things in this episode that gives you the impression that she has some type of meta power. The first was she revived Mark with a kiss. By the way, are we going to bring up the fact that she kissed someone without their consent? Are we still on that? I don't know what side of which fence everybody is on these days. All I know is 5 years ago, that was like an egregious offense that the writers were constantly bringing up. And then like the next year, they had people completely pretending that was never a thing. I don't know where they stand anymore, but I had a good chuckle inside of me that I don't recall Mark consenting to that. But how did she think that was going to revive him? I need to know that process. I need the long script that they would have had for explaining the thought process on how she came to that decision, because that was a no way that's going to make any sense decision for her to just walk up and kiss a guy and think that's going to fucking fix him, right? My only thought process that went through my mind is because she is so new, maybe she's been reading some books and maybe she read like what was it? Was it Romeo and Juliet or something like that? Or no, Sleeping Beauty, where someone came up, kissed the person, and they all of a sudden became alive or some shit like that. one of those kids' books. Maybe that was her thought process. I don't know. I do not know her thought process on this, but that is the only thread I can put together where she came up with that logic. As for the other part of it, of course, her sensing that Iris is pregnant, I think this is going to turn out to be something where she just has like a connectivity to the life essence of the planet or something like that. I don't know. Uh, with the Batwoman one, yeah, there was no explanation to that, and we're never going to get one, which is annoying because that was another thing. They spent no time explaining how she just suddenly showed up. Also, Grodd's back. Cool, really cool. Chegra happened. Official, I guess. Don't care. Any story. And Joe's officially leaving Central City. Yeah, there's a lot of things to unpack there. Yeah, Grodd coming back was awesome. I don't understand how he had the Speed Force just like still in his mind. Sure, writers, okay. We'll assume that's a real thing. But okay, I'll give you that one. Um, Joe leaving, yeah, that hurt. Obviously I did my live watch. His talk with Barry and then his talk at the end, both times got me. One got me more than the other, obviously, but both times it got me a little bit. And like I said earlier, I said that already earlier. Like his chats, his speeches are always top tier. We do have a super chat down here. Where am I? 8:20 p.m. All right, I'll try to remember that. I might lose that part of the chat, but we do have Mr. Gary Gammon in the house. Hello, Gary. I haven't seen you around in a little while, but it's good to have you here. Gary. Gary Gammon always with the hottest questions on the planet, the questions everyone's looking for answers to. Let's see what Gary's got in store for us today. Will Barry and Iris, what kind of seed do you think they did? What position? Gary. Oh. I honestly think Gary asked these questions just to see me laugh. I mean, I can't. It was an immaculate conception, Gary. That is what happened. They are both still virgins, and can't prove it otherwise. How you doing, Gary? Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you here. Just scrolling through the chat because I did read some of these earlier because I was trying to avoid Flash stuff until a little bit later. So I've already read some of the earlier part of the chat. Let me just see. Between Cicada and Red Death, Cicada was more intimidating than Red Death. Red Death is such a chore and dull and bad and villain. Yeah, I read that earlier, but to answer that, neither of them is good. I mean, no, you know what? Yeah, both of them are bad. Honestly, I can't pick one or the other that is worse. Honestly, they're both kind of bad. All right, what else we got here? This episode of The Flash was a 6 out of 10. Even after I rewatched the first 4 episodes before this episode, this entire arc feels both slow and ultimately, apart from the pregnancy reveal, just pointless. It was very underwhelming. I'll give you that. I think a 6 out of 10 for the episode is low, but for the arc, sure. I think for the entire arc, a 6 out of 10, fair enough. This episode, I think that's a little low, but you're allowed to feel how you want on it. We have another Gary down here. Let me get to that. Do I think Superman and Lois will get a season 4? We talked about this a little earlier, Gary. My feeling on it right now is I still think it's probably about 50-50. I think they're going to wait and see how the first couple episodes ratings go before they make a hard decision on it. I really feel they're going to wait until they have some data on the numbers for the show before they decide whether they're going forward with more of it. So yeah, unfortunately right now I think it is one of the most 50-50 questions I've ever had to answer right now. Do I want it to come back? Yeah, of course. Do I think it will? I still kind of do. I still kind of think it's going to get picked up, but I don't know, man. It's a very tough one to be sure of right now. Um, okay, I answered a couple of those already. Interesting things happening in the episode, but none of it was explained. Yeah, we just went over this, Mionet. Sorry if I'm butchering your name. I do not know how I'm supposed to pronounce that. Is it Mionet or Mioknet? Either way, yeah, there's a lot of unexplained magic that happened there, like Ryan just suddenly showing up. How does Keown have these powers? Uh, Probably one or two other things I've already forgot about. Yeah, they just magicked things into existence this episode. I'm sure the Flash movie will be previewed during the Flash series finale. Oh, 101%. I think that'll happen because that's only like a month out from the movie, isn't it? Yeah, I'm sure that'll happen. 8:41. All right, we got another super chat down here. Gary is on a roll tonight. We got Gary here again. Are you mad at me? Are you proud of me? I am never mad at you, Gary. Sometimes I'm even proud of you. Sometimes you amaze me. How have you been, by the way? Haven't seen you around nearly as much. I hope whatever it is that you're doing is you're having fun at it, man. Good to see you here. How can Grodd amplify her telepathy when there was never any mention of telepathic powers existing? Um, I mean, he is capable of telepathy. He's done it many times. I don't understand specifically how his powers boost her power. If that's the question you're asking, I don't have any answer, and I doubt the writers do either. But if that was just an overall question about his telepathy, yeah, he does have that. Yeah, true to that. Also, Disney lost almost 1.5 billion in merchandise sales because of keeping Baby Yoda's secret reveal. So of course Disney would want to recover all that money. Yeah, I was really surprised when he spawned into existence that they had kept that to themselves for so long because Disney's spoiled a lot of things in the past by merchandising. How is Red Death able to dampen Barry's speed when she wasn't using negative speed force? I can honestly say I can't answer that one for you. There's probably someone better equipped to answer that type of question than me. I am not the one that probably has the best answer for that. Yeah, on its own, Red Death finale was okay on its own, but garbage in context of the arc. Yeah, the arc was weak. The arc was weak, but this episode was good. What's the explanation for Batwoman going missing? They never explained that. I thought Iris was going to track her down. Yeah, that never led anywhere either. But she just shows up with zero explanation. Yep, that's 100% what happened. Yeah, just she all of a sudden was there because they needed her for the story. Yeah, Destroyer definitely wasn't Javicia Leslie's fault. She can only work with the content they give her. I think she, by the way, the first episode or two, I was kind of just like rolling my eyes at the the one bad line they would give her every episode. Looking back on it, I think her body mannerisms are really good for crazy unhinged. It's just her vocal part of it doesn't do the same. She really knows how to sell crazy eyes. She did that amazingly well. She can do like weird head movements very well. But when she speaks words, they don't carry the same for whatever reason. You know, everyone's got a strong point. Everyone's got a weak point. We've seen it with half of the actors in the Arrowverse. And yeah, I think that's just one aspect maybe she's not the best at is vocalizing crazy psychotic, but she can show it. She can show it with her facial expressions. She can show it with her body language. She just can't show it with her vocal range. At least for me. The episode was great, but the arc. Oh, I read that. Oops. You know, shocker, but also it's not surprising at all. I don't know what that was in reference to anymore, but sure. Why was Batwoman missing? Because the story needed her to be. Despite some issues, I just thought this episode was fun. Yeah, I thought it was a very good overall episode. But yeah, if you're looking at the overall arc, poor. If you're looking at the individual episode, I thought the individual episode was good. Hello, Eddie. Welcome. What did you miss? Oh, you missed everything, man. We went over everything ever possible in vivid detail. We tiptoed around a few topics for a while. I talked about Mandalorian, talked about Superman and Lois coming back, and the Gotham Knights coming in. Then we started to tiptoe into talking about the Flash episode tonight because I was trying to pull off procrastinating on that as long as I can to give people who are watching the East Coast feed, which just ended 3 minutes ago, a chance to watch it before they get in here. So that was kind of where everything is on that. We have a chat from Scott down there. Give me a second. Will Legends be referenced this season at all? Maybe. I know that's a very cop-out answer, but I don't. It's hard to. Who knows, right? We have Wally coming in down the stretch. Maybe that comes up while Wally's in the episode, but probably not. Or if they do, it won't have anything specific about wrapping up Legends. If you're thinking, like, will they talk about Legends in a way that will wrap up their details? No, not at all. How far behind was I? 8:43, I think I said. Yeah, or 8:44. Maybe 8:53, 8:47. There we are. Every number but the right one. Tonight's episode was crazy. Yeah, it was, Eddie. I agree. Wasn't there a Supergirl reference? Yes, and it went by so quickly I didn't catch the details on it. Ryan referenced Kara, Alex, and a couple others. I think Nia was in there. Maybe Alex's wife. What's her name again? Kelly. I think she might have referenced Kara, Alex, Kelly, and Nia for some reason. Ryan mentioned them, but I don't know what the context was because it went by so quick, and I was in the process of going, "Hey, wait, was that?" And then the moment was over, and I never really picked up on all of it. So is Keon just new Caitlin because you can literally take this new character out and nobody will miss a thing? Not really. I mean, Caitlin didn't have superpowers, and this girl seems to have something. Maybe the writers thought the pregnancy reveal would be funny and did a poor judge in humor. See that sort of thing all the time. Yeah, that's possible. But there's no way they didn't know. There's no way. I know I said this earlier. There's no way at all that they did not know that fan base would lose their shit over this. There's 0% chance. Even if someone pitched it in the room that's fairly new, say you got your 8 writers in a room, One of them's kind of new, doesn't know the fan base. They just know the show's content. They don't know the fans. They're like, what if we do this? One of the other 7 writers in the room is going to go, here's Twitter. Tell me if you think these people are going to be reasonable about this. And they would have scrapped it. This had to have been written by someone that clearly has a absolute grudge against that fandom. That's all there is to it. It had to be written by someone in that room that got attacked and bullied by them to the point that they're like, I'm going to fuck over their day. That's the only thing that's how I'm justifying that happening. DC needs to reference to Marvel having Red Death swing around like she is Spider-Man or something. LOL. Huh? DC needs to reference. I don't get that comment. Sorry if I missed something there. Is Keon just meta-human Jesus? No, she's not that powerful. She's not Sion. She's not so. Cecile. Oh my god. I was about to call her Celine. I was getting every name but the right one. I misspelled. I meant DC needs to stop referencing to Marvel. I don't know about that. I don't think so. I think it's fair to reference your direct competition. They've done it for so long that it would be weird if they just stopped doing it, right? Hey Caroline, welcome. How far behind am I? 16 minutes. Okay. What if Keon is the one to defeat Cobalt Blue? Will fans be pissed? Oh my god, could you imagine? Oh. In a perfect world, follow me for a second. In a perfect world, this is how it plays out. Cobalt Blue is Eddie. He comes back and he's jealous that Iris and Barry are together. He tries to win Iris back, and when she says no, he kills Iris. And Keon gets revenge on Iris's death by killing Eddie, or Cobalt Blue. Oh. There we go. All right. Anyways, yeah, the fans would be pissed if that happened. When Barry was using a shield, I was like, okay, Captain America. Right? Okay, where did that come from? How did he, what the hell? Okay, someone make sense of this for me. I saw that and it took me a few seconds because I was busy watching what it was that Red Death was throwing. And it wasn't until he used it like the second time that I realized he had a shield made of lightning, and I was like, huh? Who did he steal that from? Captain America? Like, I was very confused. Cool. It was still cool, but confused. And why didn't he make a larger shield? Because, like, she could have hit him in the knee or something. Like, a shield's only really covering your face and part of your abdomen. Maybe Keon thought she was Prince Charming. That was what I was trying to reference earlier. Thank you. I said, did I say Sleeping Beauty? Maybe I meant Snow White. I can't remember anymore. One of my favorite moments in the episode, I think, is the fact that Ryan, Kara, Alex, and Nia hang out each month for brunch is so cool. Now Iris can join in. Okay, so that's what they were talking about. Thank you for bringing that up, because I knew I'd heard the names. I just couldn't remember what the reference was. Okay. Little disappointed she didn't mention Luke, Mary, and Sophie. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't have a mention of that either. It just makes it feel like life in the Arrowverse continues even if we don't see them on screen. I love that sort of thing. Yeah, I do too. Give me a second here, guys. All right. I think seeing the red lightning in the skies at the beginning reminds me of the newspaper from the beginning of the series. Oh, yeah. You know, that actually never crossed my mind at the time. Good call. Wonder if if that will be a callback to the upcoming Dreamer episode. I never thought about that. Right? Yeah. I wonder. Yeah, I wonder if that was like a line they set up to pay off in the Dreamer episode. I mean, obviously we won't get to see Kara and Alex and all of them, but they might reference having lunch with them earlier, right? That's an interesting one. Yeah. Good. You guys are picking up some good things today. To answer Grodd, he had a device on the right side. Yeah, I noticed that, but I didn't think about that when I was answering it earlier. Sorry. Do you think Barry will continue to help Grodd now that Red Death is defeated and Iris is pregnant? They specifically said there that they've got their like satellites or whatever right now, uh, working on finding his pack of gorillas. So they're working on it. This episode just exemplified everything I hate about Eric Wallace as a writer and a showrunner. Why? Um, oh, yeah, why set things up just not pay things off at all? Yeah. Eric Wallace made some big swings and big misses so far, but I don't know. I don't know what happens behind the scenes that makes him think some of these decisions were good, but it is what it is, right? Hello, Jordan. Welcome. Haven't seen you in a while. Welcome. The Grodd part was a good twist, though. Yeah, I mean, I had to laugh, by the way, when they made the reveal that Grodd was there, because how many of you remember when the trailer came out and we had Barry standing there in the forest talking to Grodd, looking up in the sky at Grodd. He's like, "Hey, can you help us?" and all that. And the first reaction people had, a reasonable amount of people were like, "Oh, I think that's Grodd." By the next afternoon, the whole discussion had shifted to, "Oh, it's Oliver as the Spectre." In a night, in like 24 hours, somehow that delusion had gotten into the world, even though Stephen Amell hadn't even, I think, filmed a day yet. He might have been like on his first or second day of filming at that time. And they somehow thought that scene that would be way over in episode 9 was in this trailer that just came out like the day before. And that theory has kept in the fucking water supply up until right this episode. You know? Yeah. I'm glad that turned out to be exactly what everyone with half a brain knew it was going to be. Like, I don't know how they got how that stayed around for so long, just being a theory. I think I saw another super chat down here. Let me just check real quick. No guest stars in the finale except villains, you think? No, I mean John Wesley Shipp is in it. I believe Michelle Harrison will probably be in it, considering she was at the rap party. But besides that, I don't know. Well, Jessica Parker Kennedy is also in it. So there's a couple of guest stars besides villains. But if you're thinking like something like a Carlos Valdez, I don't think he's going to be in it. I was told by somebody to lower my expectations for any other guest stars outside of the ones we'd seen in the set photos. Now I don't know how much they did know because they haven't worked on the show long, but they told me to lower my expectations on anyone that I thought might be still coming in. Where was I? I think this episode was really good, but the arc wasn't that great because I feel like they wasted a lot of time in the first 3 episodes. Yeah, I said this almost the exact same thing earlier, Jordan. Yeah. I thought tonight's episode was a solid 8.5, and the overall arc was like a 6. And this is almost entirely on the writing team, just wasting so much. I personally said earlier, out of the 5-episode arc, they probably wasted 2 episodes full of content on junk. Junk. I mean, I've been one of the people who's like, oh, cool, Chegra would be cool, but I didn't expect them to drag it out for 4 fucking episodes. Like, stuff like that, man. They wasted so much time. So much time. So much time. Oh, yeah. Yeah. They finally referenced Amunet in the episode. Yeah. Well, they referenced her back in the first episode when Goldface came in. He explained why he is out, and he said that it's because he rolled over on Amunet. Checker says, like, you guys need to kiss it out, and that's it. Yeah. Now it's done, finally. Thank you. Chegra is finally official. Yeah. For the 3rd time. I'm going to be absolutely boiling inside with rage if we get more filler episodes this season, because again, those episodes should have been used by Wallace to give some form of closure to the Legends. No, I disagree with that 101%. It is not Eric Wallace's job to fix the Legends showrunners' problems. He owes them nothing, and it would be an insult to the Flash fans if he suddenly wasted an episode on them. If you notice, he didn't wrap up anything for Batwoman. Nothing about this episode wrapped up anything on Batwoman. So any Legends fans that gripe about the Batwoman shit can look at this and be like, hey, they didn't wrap up anything about Batwoman. So Legends fans don't have a leg to stand on that. Are we going to see Becky again by judging the name of the title, Metahuman? Yes. Next episode, I think, is the one she's supposed to be in. Disappointed Ryan didn't mention Luke and Sophie. Yeah, I am too, actually. Although Luke got mentioned a couple of times over this arc, so, I mean, he's been mentioned. I agree with that because they did that when Ralph was swinging his arms over the city. Remember that scene? Yeah. CG, that's probably the best writing for Cobalt Blue in a long time. Thank you. I will be accepting my writing award at the Emmys soon. The reference of the Marvel things is from the fight sequence between Red Death and Flash. I got that now. Yeah. It took me a couple of minutes because obviously I'm behind in the chat. So it took me a couple of minutes to catch up to what you guys were talking about. Yeah. It's Barry with the Shield. Yeah. Maybe next episode we'll say I can do this all day. Maybe they'll go to a musical about the Flash. Maybe that's what's going to happen. Oh, no. No. Oh, how mad would fans be if they wasted an episode about a musical? Like, not a musical episode, but an episode about a musical about the Flash. Oh. I'm coming up with some good ones tonight. I was confused by that, like, how did she know Iris was pregnant? Because that's news Barry and Iris could have shared themselves. Yeah. Like I said, I talked about this a little earlier already. It's weird that the writers chose to do it that way. I personally kind of feel this was the writers' room giving a big FU to their fans for all of the abuse they've taken over the years. Unless I ever hear something different to prove otherwise, that is my running theory with this, because I don't know why they would have went any other way than they did on that, you know? I think CGI was pretty good for the Grodd and for the Red Death versus Flash fight. The Red Death versus Flash fight was really good. Grodd was fine. I didn't pay a lot of attention to the Grodd stuff because he wasn't moving. He was just standing still for most of it, so they didn't have to do a lot of work on it. But yeah, it was fine. Hi, Countergrass. Do you know if Matt will be in episode 12 and 13, or you don't really know what episodes he's in? I do not know what episode he is in. I think it'll be 11 or 12, but I do not know for certain. The excuse Wallace didn't have time to give Legends closures, becoming more and more bullshit with more boring arcs that have some reason known to Almighty himself have filler in them. Because if he was going to do anything, why wouldn't he spend that time that he has wasted? You are correct. Why wouldn't he use that time to wrap up Flash story arcs, since this is on the Flash? We just had Batwoman in the show, and he didn't wrap up any Batwoman stuff. Why does Legends feel entitled to that? Legends fans are acting like they're owed this, and they're not. So the gorillas are running around in the world. What if they killed someone? I don't know. I guess they'll get Harambe'd. Except villains and Nora and Jay Garrick. Right. I know they can't do it, but imagine if they had Grodd help Team Flash to fight against the upcoming speedsters in the end of the season. That would be pretty awesome. You never thought it was Oliver? Neither did I. Like I said, that first night when it came out, the running consensus was that it was going to be Grodd. I mean, there was even a growl at the start of it and everything. By the next afternoon, I don't know where the story got warped, but people started thinking it was going to be Oliver as the Spectre, and just like, have these people checked to see if they have a concussion? I don't know, but yeah. No Cisco, well, bummer. I wouldn't say to never say never. So here's the one thing I will say on this. I know how many times I have told you guys they can't film scenes elsewhere without paying off the crew here. And that's still true. But there is a workaround to that that's been used a few times that I've never really mentioned before, because, to be honest, I didn't really know it until I found out more recently about it. There is a workaround to that. But it's a workaround that puts them in the position of having to wait a while. That workaround is they need to wait until the production office for the Flash is completely closed down, which usually takes about 3-4 weeks. So they will have to wait until the Flash is completely out of business in Vancouver before they can film a scene somewhere else and not have to pay out. So there could be a Carlos scene maybe in a month in LA somewhere. But I still don't know if that's going to happen, because I would have expected him to do his Star Labs scene or fighting out in the field, and those two things have kind of already gone by. The only way I could see them maybe bring him in would be if he does a over the phone talk with someone in an episode, like they did with I forgot who it was, but there's someone they did an over the phone talk with in some show. Sorry if I'm focusing on Legends, but since I rewatched the previous episodes in preparation for this episode, all of it just seems pointless in terms. Sure, I understand there's a lot of wasted time. I agree with you, there's wasted time, but Legends is literally at the bottom of the pile of things that they need to worry about. I agree that dragged that out too long. I don't know what that was in reference to anymore, even though that was only like 7 minutes ago, but you're probably right. I want the Flash to end good, but man, it's getting hard to defend this season thus far. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't hate it, but I have a very low tolerance for like, I can watch not great television and still be entertained. I'm not here comparing the show to season 1 of the show. That's why I can get through these things. I see people all the time, they're like, oh, this show's not as good as it was in season 1 and season 2. It's like, but the question is do you still find this watchable? If you find it watchable, shut up and watch it. If you now think the show is so bad that you can't watch it, don't watch it. Don't put your time in. Then you don't have to go online and complain about it. I say this all the time. You guys have heard me literally say this 100 times on here. I compare it to like a sports star. The Flash, season 1, season 2, superstar, best player on the team, putting up superstar numbers. Everybody remembers how great those superstar seasons were of the superstar. Flash season 9 is, the end of the superstar's career. It's had a couple of rough years, maybe a couple of, injuries, whatever, slowed him down, but he's still serviceable, still has a role in the team, just still contributing to the team.
The team in this case is the CW or Warner Brothers, however you want to look at it. The Flash is a member of that team, still contributing, still giving something of value to the team. He's just not as good as season 1, season 2 of The Flash. And the problem is everyone keeps comparing it to season 1, season 2 of The Flash. And it's not the same guy anymore. It's, in this case, not the same show. It's like doing the same thing with a sports athlete. They come into the league superstar for the first couple of years. By season 9, they're not that superstar anymore. And people need to look at it and go, do I find this show watchable? If you find the show watchable, quit bitching about how bad it is compared to season 1 and season 2. If you don't find the show watchable, don't watch it anymore, and you don't have to complain about it. These are your two options. Yeah, I noticed that all Ryan Wilder said to Team Flash was if you need to call Batwoman wrap up to her call, but no Batwoman wrap up. Yeah, exactly. I have a prediction. What if Keon Boy and Chegra will have. You just knew what happened here. Give me a second, guys. Okay. For anyone that does not want to hear unsettling facts, just zone out for about 10 seconds because I'm just going to describe what happened as I was reading this comment. I'll read the comment first, and I will tell you what happened in the middle of the comment, why it's so funny. So the comment reads, I have a prediction. What if Keon Blaine and Chegra will have a double date because it looks like that in the promo? So here's the thing. You obviously heard me stop and pause in the middle of that sentence. I legitimately threw up in my mouth, not figuratively, but actual stuff came up into my mouth during that moment. Because I ate a lot of salsa and things earlier, so I'm gassy. It had nothing to do with that comment, but the irony it happened during that comment is you can't write that stuff. Double date? Okay, sure, okay. I can still taste it in the back of my throat. It's also got, like, I'm sure you guys have all done that in your life, like got like all of that, and now my throat's sore. Very unsettling. Well, Barry and Iris didn't know. They thought it was going to be in 3 months. Yeah. Was I shocked when you saw Thawne and all the other speedsters come back? I'm mostly interested in the back half. I'm going to keep watching since it's still your favorite show. Yes, I was shocked that many were in one scene. I wasn't shocked that necessarily they would all show up this year. I was shocked that many were in one specific scene. And yeah, it's good that you're still watching. That's good. A question. We know Cobalt Blue is coming by the end of the season from those photos of Eddie digging up the grave. Is that Eddie or the ancestor Eddie? We will have to wait and see. I'm sure you've probably read my blog on it. Like Malcolm Thawne, I heard they once on Paige's channel. Okay, I can give you context of that. The way Malcolm's name has come up in this conversation is the day they did the first scene at the graveyard. They drove all the trailers in. I was there before the production crew was even set up, so I got to see all the trailers as they were driving in. They drove in with a bunch of other cast trailers. There was one for Allegra because she's the director, and there was one for a couple of the Central City Citizen members. Then there was one that was had two names on it. One was Speed Force Nora, and the other one just said Malcolm. That's all it said on the trailer, just Malcolm. Now, as the AD came by and did some
updating, he changed a couple of them to like producer and writer, and then he changed the one that would have had Malcolm's name on it, now said Eddie on it. But that's where the Malcolm came up, is because there was a trailer that was used at some time in that day or the last couple of days who had a character named Malcolm. That is where Malcolm came into play. So yeah, we will have to wait and see. All I know is what I saw, and what I reported is everything I saw. Excuse me. I know a lot of people didn't like the Joe and Cecile side story, but I thought it was pretty good, and I would rather have that than the Chegra side story. Fair enough. um, excuse me. Give me a second, guys. I was better than just constantly like having that like constantly there. CD, will you be doing a watch along for Gotham Knights on Twitch? I might, simply because I think it's on the same night as Superman and Lois, so I can kind of do both at the same time. Undetermined yet whether I will. By the way, guys, I said this earlier on the watch along for the Flash. I might move those over here. I might move the watch alongs over here, simply because the price for the channel went up 50% since last week. It used to be $2 an episode, now it's $3. And I don't monetize my Twitch because I have a problem with their system and how many hoops there are to jump through to do it. If I move it here, at least I can make ad revenue off of it here and justify offsetting the amount I make off of that. So I might move those over here. And if I do those over here, that means I probably am not doing late night live chats like I am right now later after the episode ended. Because I don't want to be doing 2 live chats on the same channel the same night, like 2 hours apart. That's just a lot of clutter. So I might test that theory out soon, but we'll see. That is a bridge yet to be got to. I will worry about that next week or in 2 weeks, whenever they're back. But yeah. Well, now that Iris is pregnant, we will have 2 pregnant wives from 2 different shows. Iris on The Flash, Lois on Superman and Lois. Oh, is Lois pregnant on Superman and Lois? Oh, I don't remember that. I noticed that. I wonder who that woman was jumping up for a hug. Noticed that. I wonder who that woman was jumping up for a hug. I don't understand the context of that. Can you remind me what that was about, Eddie? I hope Jordan will get his own villain on Superman and Lois this season. I would be surprised if he does. It's going to be something very minor. It's going to take up like 3 episodes, spread out over like a 7-episode arc that will have something to do with some kid in high school. I don't know. Excuse me. What are you going to do in May when the show is over and you won't have Melissa or Candace to hate on anymore? Same thing I have done my entire life. Live my life. They take up 0.2% of my life, man. The obsession their fans have with thinking I give a fuck about them outside of the time I'm on social media is flabbergasting. I don't fucking walk around during the day going, I wonder what Melissa's doing today. Like, I just don't fucking care. The only time I care is when I'm on goddamn social media and it comes into my timeline. I'm like, oh, that's what's going on. Oh my God, people think this. I have to correct them. That's the only fucking time I'm thinking about them. Thank you, CG, for clearing up that, because I was confused if it was Malcolm or Eddie. No worries. In the scene, I don't know if you read my blog, but in the scene, there's a scene where him and Corber are in the graveyard. She's got a taser pulled on him, and he specifically says to her, I am Eddie. I am alive, and I need to know why. That doesn't necessarily mean it is Eddie. That could be Malcolm playing, but that was the only thing I know about the scene. Excuse me. By the way, Melissa Benoist replaced Sarah Michelle Gellar in the Master of the Universe Netflix series made by Kevin Smith. Oh, that's what that was. Okay, I saw Melissa Benoist and something to do with Masters of the Universe today, but I didn't read more into it. Cool. I know a lot of people think I have a disliking for Melissa, but she's a massive step up on Sarah Michelle Gellar. So good for them. In the promo from tonight's episode. Okay, Eddie, can you formulate a full statement on what you're trying to say? Because that's two things in a row now. You've said that I'm kind of like I don't quite follow. Can you put it all into one post? And if you can't, like two posts, because these partial sentences, I'm not picking up what it is you're trying to reference. Okay, thank you. Red Death finally killed someone, and it was a guy stealing a TV. Yeah, the massive body count of one, maybe. Did we actually see her kill the guy though, or was it just implied that she killed him? Um, you know. You're the one that said tonight you're happy about the pregnancy reveal because it made a certain fan base mad. We all got to move on. Uh, yeah, I did say that because that fan base is constantly bullying everybody, and they got shit on tonight for it. Someone in the writers' room looked at everything that fan base has done for the last 9 years and went, "Fuck them. Let's laugh at them." Um, so I don't have a problem with Candace. Candace didn't write the episode. I have a problem with the fans that keep trying to threaten and bully everyone into doing what they want. That's where that stands, you know. They did the over the phone thing with Callista for Supergirl. Yes. And they did that scene at, thank you, that's what it was. They did Callista scenes also in LA after the fact at the end. Thank you. I knew it was something notable, and I'm just like, what show was it on? Supergirl crossed my mind, and for some reason Callista didn't cross my mind. But now that you say those two pieces together, I'm like, that is exactly what I was thinking about. Yeah. Hope Caitlin comes back in the finale. I don't think that's going to happen, but you can hope. I mean, hope is a thing you're allowed to do. All right, guys. I'm going to ask you to give me two grades. One is for tonight's episode. Only tonight's episode. The second is for the entire Red Death arc. Episode grade first, Red Death arc grade second, so that I know which grade you're giving to which one. Out of 10, you can do it out of 10, or you can give it an A through F score, whichever way is best for you. During the promo, when they showed about Iris and Barry being pregnant, they showed Chilblain and Keown, and there was a woman jumping up, hugging someone. Give me a second. I'll have to look for the promo for the next episode. Why am I writing an arrow? The Flash 906 promo. I don't need to hear it, right? I just need to see it. I didn't see anyone jump up and hug somebody.
Can you look up the trailer online and tell me the timestamp of this scene? 8 for tonight's episode, 5 for the arc. Okay. Episode 5 was a 7 out of 10. Whole arc, a 5 out of 10. Episode, a B. Red Death arc, A. I love Jaleesa and glad she got her closure. Woo! That is a wild take. All right. I mean, you're allowed to feel how you want, but I think the majority of the internet will disagree with you. 7 for the episode, 5 for the arc, 8.5 for the episode, 6.5 for the arc, and 4 for Jaguar. 7 for the episode, 5 for the arc. Okay, so yeah, we have on average looks to be about a 7.5 for the episode, and looks to be about a 5 for the arc, with the exception of 1A for the arc. So yeah, most people's scores seem to be falling in about the same range across the board. And they're not far off from what I said. I said 8.5 for the episode and like a 6 for the arc. So yeah, it looks like everyone's kind of in that same zone of where they felt this was. Okay, let's do a different one. From 1 to 10, how do you feel they did with the Iris pregnancy announcement? I know this is gonna. I know some of the grades I'm gonna get, and I had to do it. Caroline said 8 out of 10, but you didn't say what was that for the episode or the arc, or both. Is that your grade for both of them? For the promo for next week, it's 12 seconds on the timestamp. Okay, I can look for that. If I can remember where they're at. Okay, 12 seconds in. Okay, I will start this at like 10 seconds just in case the time on the one I watch is slightly off. Okay, why isn't this playing? Play. Are you talking like it looks like they're in Barry's loft and somebody is hugging someone? They hopped on them and hugging them. That's who you're talking about? Give me a second. My first thought is Chegra, but the hair doesn't look right on the person that would be Allegra. Okay. I'm gonna slow the speed down here. Sorry guys, just give me a second here. I'm gonna try and do this as slow as I can. The color palette they used for this is awful. Why does my computer keep freezing right as this scene starts? It won't let me just play through it. Go. I have no idea who that is, man. I have no idea. Zero idea. Sorry, I can't answer your question. At 8 out of 10 for both. Okay. Irish pregnancy, 8 out of 10. 7 out of 10, inoffensive but very predictable, especially with the recap, the beginning of the episode, bringing it up again. Okay. Okay, for the time of the promo, it was 11 seconds out of 21. Yeah, I saw what you're talking about, and I don't know who that is, man. That's confusing. 6 out of 10 for the Iris pregnancy. Okay. Good night, Jordan. Have a good one. Maybe Aminette and Goldface. See, okay, so the hair on them, I could see you thinking Aminette, but the other person did not look bald. It looked like they had dreads. That's why I thought it might be Chegra, but the girl didn't look like Kayla. So I'm super confused. F. Despite how you may feel about the base, it was their moment, not Keon's first pregnancy. Just throw out like it was nothing. Yeah, fair enough. You weren't here obviously earlier, Massey. I went into very long detail about how personally, because of my grudge against that fandom, I enjoyed it. But from a logic standpoint, they have a right to be mad because that was a scene that should have been written for Iris and Barry. I'm not going to be mad about it because of the fact that I am amused that all of these people that have just been aggressively mean to people for no reason for years got shit on. But I understand why they're mad, and they probably have a very valid reason to be mad. So I understand you giving it an F. There's a lot of people I think would give it an F for the very reason that I just said. Do you think they will go on break soon since March Madness is coming? They're on break like next week or the week after. 2 weeks? 2 weeks after. When is the next episode? So next week's episode, and then the week after, there is a break. Can I show it? No, I can't show it because copyright. You can look it up though. It's on YouTube. Just put in Flash 9X06 promo, and you'll find it. No problem. I don't know who that is. Can be in the promo. LOL. Yeah, neither do I. And I looked at it like 4 times in super slow speed. So I don't know. Maybe they're introducing new characters. I am an Iris and Barry fan. I'm not mad. Yeah, you're one of the rare exceptions to that, Caroline. If you go on Twitter, immediately, like within seconds of that scene happening, I clicked on the Flash hashtag because I just knew there would be some people mad. Within seconds of that scene, there was people raging about it. I knew they would. And like I said, I think they have a legitimate reason to be mad. They legitimately have a fair reason to be mad at that scene. I personally, though, because of how shitty some of those people have been, am not upset about it. Like, if it was another couple where the fans are just normal, I'd be like, they got robbed, they got screwed over, this was terrible. That fandom, however, a large percentage of them, well, at least a large percentage of the most vocal people on Twitter have been some of the worst people in any fandom. So I'm okay with them getting robbed of a moment that they wanted, you know. I'm not mad about it, just disappointed. Okay. I have a question to ask. Why don't they let the retired captain of the CCPD be part of Team Flash? Because she was stepping down from the force in the premiere. Wait, was she? Huh? You're talking about Kramer? I don't think she was. No. No, you're mixing up her with the CSI. The head CSI guy is who was stepping down, not Kramer. Because Barry was going in looking to get the role. It was the head CSI of the department that was retiring, not Kramer. Yes, she was.
No, it was the CSI. Barry is putting his bid in to get that guy's job. Kramer controls her powers now. I forgot about that. Yeah. As soon as I saw her in that room with Red Death and all of Red Death's minions, I'm like, oh, she's gonna surprise them. And it literally lasted like one scene. I really wanted to see her get away with like hitting that a couple of times, like, oh, whammy someone with the Rainbow Raider one time, and then maybe she would like do something with Fiddler's powers somehow. Like, I wanted it to be more than one time before they figured it out, but they figured it out in like 9 seconds. And I was a little disappointed with that. You thought it was Kramer. I understand now. Yeah, it was not her. She told Barry that the head CSI of the department was retiring, and that's when he's like, I'd like the job, because he's a CSI. Guys, it's 9:52, so I'm going to type in chat any last questions, and if your question is in before I finish typing that out, I will look at it and probably answer it. If it's in after I finish typing it out, I might not. Any last questions? What the hell did I just do? Oops. Any last questions before this stream ends? Must be in before I send this message in the chat, which is now typed out and ready to be sent, and send, period. All right, and we have one more comment. Cecile getting into the mind of Red Death reminds me of the time they used Nora from a different timeline when they were trying to take down Cicada. Which Nora? We've had more than one Nora, unfortunately. Nora from a different timeline when they were trying to take down Cicada. Oh no, I remember. You're talking about young Nora. Yeah, I remember that. I guess there is some similarity. I can see why you would think that. All right, that is it for today, guys. This was an all right episode for once. Yeah, we had a good episode. I will be recommending this episode. The Ark, on the other hand, yeah. All right, thanks everyone. I don't know what my schedule will be over the next week. As you know, I'm not very consistent with these things. We'll see what happens. Maybe I won't show up for a week. Maybe I will. Who knows? But thank you everyone for coming by. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you enjoyed this chat. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the week and next week and whatever time of days it is until I talk to you again. But until then, thanks, and I'll see you in the future. Bye.